All right, we're going to start this again. I had a start that did not have audio going the first time. So it's Anthony with Bleacher Bums Gaming, and this is going to be a first look at Glory Days 7's. And Glory Days 7's is basically a football experience based on, of course, 7-on-7 football, which is a staple. Basically every level of football. So it's going to it's Anthony with Bleacher Bums Gaming, and this is going to be something you'll see at practice. Again, every level from youth football, high school, college, and pro. And obviously, the purpose of that. Offensively, it gives you a chance to work against the expected coverages you're going to see from other teams, and your defensive periods. You get to obviously fine-tune the coverages you want to use in your game plan against your upcoming opponent. Also allows your DBs to work on pattern reads, just like offensively it allows your quarterbacks and receivers to work on timing. So at the high school level, going back honestly as far as I can remember, and probably close to 30 years. 7-on-7 in the spring and summer has kind of been a staple. Tournaments against multiple other schools, and then also jamborees where we rotate against maybe two or three other high schools. And then basically one-on-ones where you just go and play 7's against another school in close proximity to you. And we would do this. I've coached predominantly at running schools, but we would still partake in anywhere from 2 to 4, sometimes even 5 tournaments a summer, and then do dual meets with other schools several times. And again, even though we didn't rely on the past to win games, it's still something we like to work on, mostly for our defensive secondary to get coverage schemes down, as well as work on our play action game. And we ran our normal offense and passing league, meaning a lot of play action passes, which obviously doesn't fool anyone in a 7-on-7. But again, you're working on timing, technique, and making sure the patterns are good. So that's a history of that. And in terms of this game, the Pro Bowl had played, the tackle Pro Bowl game has kind of devolved over the years to the point where the last one that they actually played, and I use the term tackle loosely, was touch football and pads. And honestly, okay, good. Thanks for verifying the sound level. I was muted the first time I started that, so appreciate that, JAA. So, again, touch football and pads, which was not a fun experience, I would imagine, for the players, nor was it a fun experience to watch. And, you honestly can't blame them. There was a point where the Pro Bowl was a fairly serious game because football players didn't make what they do now. And you made a bonus for making the Pro Bowl. And I believe, don't quote me for sure, I think there was a winner's share was a little bit higher. I may be wrong there. But, regardless, it was an additional bonus. And you go back to the 70s, a lot of players needed that to help them get through the off season, because you still did have football players back in the 70s that may work off season jobs even. So it definitely meant more then. But this year, when they announced they were going to do a flag football game, I was a little skeptical, but actually turned out to be really enjoyable and got me thinking about doing something with the Glory Days game engine that we could incorporate 7's into a fast, fun game. And the other thing to me that's important too is the college football game. I'm happy overall with it, but I want to do some streamlining, and I also want to develop a full Glory Days pro football games experience as well. So I'm kind of using the 7's to experiment with some tweaks I have to make the flow of the full games, the college and the pro game I'm going to develop, a little bit smoother. So take some of the lessons I learned from this and apply them to those games to make them better, and again, play a little faster. So background, we're going to be using, it's kind of evolved, 7-on-7 has evolved tournament-wise, and it's actually a kind of big money AAU basketball-like thing now for high school kids and younger, where they do travel tournaments and basically a lot of money to travel, and go to these different showcases. So it's kind of become a serious deal for youth. And again, it's high school level and down. Obviously, college and pro teams don't do any of these shenanigans. Outside of pro teams in the preseason doing 7s against somebody in a joint practice. But the universally accepted rules now, 40-yard field going in, you have 3 downs to get to the 25 for a first down, 3 downs to get to the 10 for another first down, and from there you have 3 downs to score. If you score, depending on the rule set, and I'm again using the standard accepted rule set, you then go for an extra point, a 1-point conversion from the 5, and a 2-point conversion from the 10. In terms of other scoring, and interception is worth 3 points. Interceptions are not returned. So that's basically it. 6 points TD, 1 or 2 for a conversion, 3 points for a pick, and that's how scoring is kept in this game. So the way this is going to work, using that same format, and very simple game, team charts, and only a single game chart, which again, a very small footprint. Using the same trench control or ring general control ideas the other games have, football and boxing. But of course, this would be field control where offensive and defense are rated. You roll a 6-sided dice to determine how many field control stars or pluses a defense would have, an offense would have, and then resolve the play based on that. So let's look at the team cards first of all. We have Philadelphia and Kansas City. So the players included are basically the standard starting players. There's going to be 4 receivers, X and a Z, which is split end, flanker, H, which would be a slot guy, and Y, which would be the standard tight end in an offense, and then, of course, the QB and the running back. There's also defensive in general ratings, and then there are individual players, and again, this would take the 7 most expected starters on the defense, and they are rated for adjustments to the play as well, and they can affect the outcome of the play depending on how good or bad they are. So let's look at each portion of the card. First off, the team ratings. Looking at Kansas City, offense 7, defense 4, penalty 6-19. What that means is on doubles, on the 2d6 roll, you will check for penalties and then roll a d20. If it's 6 or less, it's an offensive penalty. 19 or 20, it will be a defensive penalty on Kansas City if the other team has the ball. And in this case, playing Philly, 18 to 20 would be a defensive penalty because Philadelphia has a higher penalty rate. Play calls, this is based on the 1d20 roll going down here, short and long, and it tells you which position is going to be the target of the pass, so fairly simple. D20 roll 1, it's going to be a short pass to Valdez-Scantling, who is the X. And then basically to determine if it's a completion or not, 2d10, and this works the same as the football game, basically. Similar to, I should say. The first D10 you roll against the quarterback's completion chart in long or short. And furthermore, on the trench control, blue going to the offense and red to the defense, you would look on this chart here, and KC is a 7 on offense. They got a 1-star result. And Philadelphia is a 7 on defense and a roll of 2. They got a 2+ result. So Philadelphia is going to win the control on this, meaning the completion will then be read off of their team chart, and it is a short pass, double plus, and the result there is going to be an incomplete on a roll of 8. So it's really as simple as that in resolving a play, and actually 8 would be a time. Obviously 7's doesn't have any sacks, so on the defensive charts you can get a basically a coverage sack, which the standard rule on 7's is 3.5 to 4 seconds to get a play off, so that's why that is in there and how it factors in. So let's look at the individual cards. Looking again at Valdez-Scantling, you can see a C+, which is a completion basically with extra yardage, or he makes a move to get free, or a flag is missed. So that's going to give you a little bit extra yardage, and then this is his standard completion percent, or standard completion yardage. Short and long, same thing. Down here, big plays, and there is a big play chart here on the game chart, and it tells you, as an example, if Valdez-Scantling on a long pass rolls a 9, it's a big play A. You'll go to the big play A chart, and it will tell you based on the blue roll what the result is or what you need to do. So big play A is as good as it gets. TDs on 1 and 2, and then 25 yards plus a D20, and that's exactly what you would do, or 20 yards in a D20, is he'd automatically get 25 or 20 yards, roll the D20, and add that to the end of it. So big plays are kind of simplified to over the current college game. Going to the quarterback's card, they have, depending on the result, 2 stars, 1 star, and stalemate, both long and short, and then there's also an interception rating. Purple is a possible interception. So this will tell you, again, 2 stars, the C+, that's the column you look at on the targeted receiver. C is just the normal column, and then you have your incompletions, and again, as I mentioned, possible interceptions. Defense plus and double plus, again, your completions, and incompletions, time sacks, and possible interceptions there. Looking at the individual defensive players, now I wanted defensive players to make more of an impact here, so they're rated in this first open box. If there is a slash, there is no adjustment to the defensive role. A +2, Bolton and Gay, not very good in coverage. They're going to add 2 to the defensive role. So if they were covering the receiver, this role would have become a 4, which again decreases the chance for a good defensive play. And Kansas City's secondary is basically average. You look down at Philly's, they've got Bradbury, -2 is as good as it gets. Darius Slay is a -1, and then their safeties, Epps and Gardner, have a +1. Linebackers, no adjustments. Edwards and White. Reddick is a -1 as well. So the way it would work, if, say, Bradbury was covering, and here too it will tell you who they're going to cover. Bradbury will always cover the X. Outside backers will cover H and Y respectively on short targets. Safeties will cover those receivers on long, and corners will be locked up on Z on the other side. So what that means, whenever Bradbury, the target is Valdez-Scantling and Bradbury is covering, you will automatically -2 to the defensive roll. So the worst roll you could get for the defense in that case would be a 4 if you rolled a 6. And obviously if you rolled a 1 to 3, you would be looking at a 1 roll, which would be the double pluses on defense. And it'll make sense as I go through it. Hey, what's up, Brock? Thanks for joining, buddy. And that's really as simple as it is. So we'll go through, I'll do a couple of drives for each team. And again, this is just a first look. The way, or I guess the state of this game right now, it is more or less end of alpha. I've got some tweaks that I'm going to do to the field chart. I've already come up with the tweaks through testing that I'm going to do to the team charts, and these teams have those changes incorporated already. And after that, I'll probably ask for a handful of people to beta test it, and looking for a release of this in September at some point. And then we have another boxing set to get to, and then start design on a full pro game for next season. And this 7's will be a continuous release as well. And the other thing, again, this is a simple, quick game. This is going to be a PDF only release. Price point on this will either be $6 or $8, and again, all PDF, so there'll be no printed version for this game. So let's go through a play sequence at this point, and I will show you how it works. I've been talking long enough. All right. So again, the first thing we're going to do is determine who the receiver is. And then you go through and get your field control, which is similar again to ring general control in the boxing game and trench control in tackle football. And we'll take it from there. I'm going to roll 1 dice at a time. So we'll say Kansas City has the ball, first down on their 20. Again, 3 downs to get to your different yard or field quadrants. So here we go. First roll is 6. And checking on the play call, that is going to be a short pass to Juju Smith-Schuster. You will then roll on your charts, and again, Both teams are 7 offensive and defensive respectively. Kansas City roll of 5, that's going to be 1 star. And Philadelphia roll of 3 on 7. That is also going to be 1 or a plus. So that's a stalemate. So our result will come off the stalemate column, similar to the college football game right here. And then you roll your completion die, 6. Oh, and I digress. That would have been a -1 from the defensive roll. That makes it a +2, actually. So apologies for that. So +2, that is going to be a defensive win. So we will now look on Philadelphia's chart here under +2, and roll of 6 is going to be incomplete. So that's a situation where if this was a stalemate result, still would have been incomplete, but Darius Slay definitely could have affected the outcome of that. So that's it, play resolved. Second down and 15 to go to get to the 25 zone. And they're going to come right back to Smith-Schuster. And again, -1 to the defensive roll. So that's a 1 on the defensive roll, a double plus. And 5 on the offensive roll. That is a single star, so another defensive win. Mahomes looking for Schuster-Smith. This time, though, it's going to be complete. You see 2 here on the double plus is still a completion result. And Smith-Schuster, he is going to have a big play C, so we're getting a lot of basically everything that could happen in a game at this point. So big play C for Juju. You go to this chart here, and the blue die is a 5. So it's going to be 15 yards plus a D20, and that is going to be a 22-yard gain. So that gets it all the way down to the 18-yard line. First down, and it's going to be first, and now you have to gain the 10 for another first down. So a fresh 3 plays. And 10, they're going to come to the running back McKinnon out of the backfield. And I put him in because he was the higher pass percentage there. Now, the running back is going to be covered by the mic, so no adjustment to the defensive role. This time it's a 2-star for the offense, a 0 basically for the defense. So going to the 2-star column short for Mahomes. 7 is going to be completion. The only thing that hurts him there is a 9 on a double star. And 1 to McKinnon. 1 to McKinnon on the regular completion is going to be a 6-yard gain. So that gets it down to the 12-yard line. Second down and 2 for a first down. 13, and it's going to be a long pass to Valdez-Scantling, -2 on the defensive roll. And just like the college game, I do not adjust this. Obviously, a long pass has a lower completion chance. But again, as I mentioned in the college football game, inside the 20 in the red zone, the field is compressed. The DBs don't have to cover as much vertical space. So I leave the 7 result because it affects realistically the completion percentage drop in the red zone where there's not as much field to cover, if that makes sense. So Bradbury on the coverage, it'll be a -2 to the defensive result, making that a 2. So 3 on offense, that is 1 star. And that's going to be a difference maker right there. That would have been a stalemate, but -2, that makes it a double plus. So Bradbury, his coverage skills coming into play. We'll go to the defensive chart. And again, that is a plus or minus or double plus, I'm sorry. So 3 or less is what's needed for completion. And 9, this is actually going to be an interception chance. So we will still get the yardage off the receiver. So 5 going to Valdez-Scantling, and that is going to be, and that's from the completion column, 26 yards. So this will either be a pick or it will be a touchdown for Kansas City. All right, so Bradbury is the covering corner. He's going to add 5 to Mahomes' pick rating, which is an 8. So 1 to 13. Bradbury's going to get the pick. 20 and up for grabs, 50-50. Valdez-Scantling pulls that in. Touchdown, Kansas City. So they take a 6-0 lead. And both teams, by the way, will get 4 possessions per half. It again, is a very fast-paced game. So we have a conversion chart here. You look at Mahomes' extra point conversion percentage is a C. They're going to go for 1, so 1 to 15, and it's good. Kansas City up 7-0 over Philly. We'll do a drive for Philly to get them into it, as well as our friend D. Scott Howard joins us from the Pacific Northwest. Welcome, my friend. All right, so drive for Philly now. Looking at their offense, they are a 6. Kansas City, a little bit shaky in pass coverage. They're a 4. So that will definitely come into play here. Philadelphia is going to have a little bit of an advantage there. Hurts not as solid as Mahomes overall on the completion percentage. And also on the big plays, Philly's receivers not as explosive as Kansas City's, especially their outside guys. So let's go ahead and do that now. And again, on the secondary, their secondary is going to have no adjustments to the defensive role, and then only the outside backers on short passes to the H or the Y will make the defensive role worse, actually. All right, so Philly with the ball, and we'll see if Jalen Hurts can come down and get the equalizer. And 8 right off the bat, it is going to be a short pass to Y. So again, +2 to the defensive role here. And again, blue is offense, red is defense. So that is definitely advantage Philadelphia. 2-star result there. So looking at the 2-star column, short pass, Jalen Hurts. 2 is going to be a completion, and then yardage off of Goddard, 1, and that is going to be 4 yards on the completion chart. So 2nd down and 11 now, and again the line to gain is a 25. You can roll all these dice at once. I'm just going through the steps, of course, one by one. It's going to be another short target, and this again is going to go to the Y. So Goddard again. And on the rolls, 3 on the offensive roll. That is going to be a 2-star result on a 6 offense, and add 2 to that due to the poor coverage skills. And again, it's going to be another ++ win for the offense, or double-star win for the offense. So checking that column for Hurts, 1, that's going to be a completion plus, and 2, short pass to Goddard, completion plus, that's going to be a 9-yard gain. So that's going to make it a 3rd and 1 to go from the 26-yard line. See if Kansas City's much maligned secondary can step up. And Philly's going to take a shot. 18, that is going to be a target to Smith. And he will be covered in the slot by Reed, who is no adjustment. So whatever the rolls get, and 5s for both, I can tell you that is going to be more than likely a stalemate. Kansas City's 4, 1-star and 6. I'm sorry, 1-star on a 6 for Philly, 1-star, and 1+ on Kansas City. That is going to be a stalemate. So Hurts taking a shot, and long, he needs 3 or less for a completion, and 9, that's going to be a potential interception. And taking that shot to Smith, 1 is going to be a 17-yard gain. So that'll be a 1st down if it is complete. On the coverage, Reed, not very solid. He had no interception, so he's a -9. That reduces Hurts' interception rating to a 1. Again, you cannot go above 19 or below 1. So anything above a 1, it's good, 17 yards. And that's going to be inside the 10, so 3 downs to score for Philadelphia from here. And play call is going to be a short pass to Watkins, and Watkins covered by Watson, no adjustment to the coverage. 1 on offense is 2 stars, and 3 on defense is 1 star. It is going to be a 1-star result there. I'm sorry, a 2-star result for the offense. Basically, whoever wins gets that particular result. So 8 Hurts under double plus, and that is going to be a completion just barely. And 4 to Watkins on the short pass is going to be 3 yards. So that gets it down to 6, 2nd down from there. Play call and short pass to the X, which is Brown, and again covered by Snead, no adjustments to the rolls. For Philadelphia, that is no stars, and for the defense, that is going to be a 1-star or a 1+ result. So we roll off the defensive short pass 1+ right here. And again, Kansas City not stellar there, 6 or less. It's still going to be complete. It is, and 2. To Brown on the short pass, 14 yards. That's a touchdown. So Philadelphia equalizes, and they will go for their extra point. Hertz and company also a C, so 15 or less. Extra point is up and good. It's 7-7, and that is basically how the game plays out. We'll do one more drive. So the key to being successful in this game is really getting stops, and 7's, especially at a high level, where the quarterback has no rush and can sit back there and kind of pick a defense apart. A lot easier, obviously, to complete a pass. So this is going to be a rather high-scoring type game, which most 7's are, with 1 or 2 stops often making the difference. So we'll do one more drive for each team, and I'll just go through and do regular speed now. 20, and that's going to be a shot to Smith-Schuster, covered by Slay, -1 to the defensive roll. And 6, that's going to be 1 star for Kansas City, taking it down to 1. 2 stars, or 2 pluses on defense. Defense is going to win that battle. So roll there. That's going to be a time sack, 2nd down. Good job by Darius Slay on the coverage. Shut that down. Mahomes had to eat it. Going to take a shot to Kelsey now down the slot, and Kelsey will be covered by Gardner, who is a +1 to the defensive roll. Favorable matchup for Kansas City, and that is going to be a 2-star result as Kansas City, again, the defensive roll becomes a 5. So 2-star result looking for Kelsey, and 7 or less, that's going to be complete. 9 is going to be a big play B to Kelsey. Roll is 1. And that's going to be a touchdown. So Kansas City fires right back. Kelsey down the seam to take the lead again. Extra point, 15 or less. It's up and good. 14-7. Kansas City goes up, and Philadelphia again will be looking to match them for points. Here we go. 7, Hertz. Play call is going to be a short pass to Goddard, covered by Gay, which will be a +2 to the offensive rating. Again, favorable there. Or +2, I'm sorry, to the defensive roll, which was as bad as it gets anyway. And Philadelphia's offense is going to be a 1-star result. So 1-star result, short pass for Hertz, a 6. That is going to be just complete, and a 1 will be a 12-yard gain. So 2nd down and 3. Play call and short pass attempt to Brown. So Brown going to be covered by Snead, no adjustment. 2 is going to be a 2-star versus a 1+, so it's going to be a 2-star result for the completion for Jalen Hurts. And roll of 5, that is complete. Roll of 2 on Brown's card, that is going to be 14 yards. So we are down to the 13-yard line now, and again, just have to get inside the 10 for yet another 1st down. So you can see how this is kind of like a track meet version of football. 9 is going to be a Y. So short pass there to Goddard, and again covered by Gay, meaning a +2 to the defensive roll. 4 is going to be a 1-star result. Short pass 5, 1-star is complete, and Goddard a roll of 6, going to be 6 yards, and that will be a 1st and goal now inside the 10. Play call for Philly, and he's going to swing it out to Sanders. Sanders covered by Chanel, so there'll be no adjustments to the rolls there. 4, 1-star for Philly. 5 is going to be a +1 on defense. So that's going to be a stalemate. So going on Hertz's card, 4 or less, that is going to be complete. And to Miles Sanders, a roll of 4. That's going to be a 4-yard gain. So it gets it down to 3, 2nd and goal from there. Both quarterbacks in good rhythm right now, and coming back to Sanders once again. So 3 on the defensive roll, that will be a plus, a single plus, and 5 on the offensive roll will be a single star. It's going to be a stalemate. So Hurts again, stalemate column, roll of 3. That is complete again to Sanders, roll of 3 for Sanders, and only gets a yard there before he's touched. So 3rd and goal, we have our first stop of this from the 2-yard line. And taking a reliable pass to Goder at the tight end because, again, Gay is not great in coverage. So that defensive roll becomes a 0, and a 4 is going to be a 1-star result for the offense. So Hurts here, as long as it's below 7 and 6, barely threads it in there. Goddard, a nice catch, a 7-yard gain. That's going to be a touchdown and extra point Philadelphia. Ooh, barely gets across the line there. So it is 14-14. So that is your first look at Glory Days 7's. And we will leave it there. You've got a couple of drives and an overview. And again, I'll do more videos of this as the game gets closer. It's really basically close to coming out of alpha right now. I do have some tweaks to make. So again, look for this in about a month to kind of coincide with the start of the NFL season. Until then, appreciate the support. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up, please, and subscribe. Anthony with Bleacher Bums Gaming. Hope you all have a great